tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, how do you identify?
So my name is Benjamin. Was born and raised in I suppose trying to make it to middle class black family, family of 10, in Connecticut. So very mostly Caucasian area. We stood out and we yeah. See, I'm not an expert in interview. This is awful.
It's so yeah,
This is awful.
Yeah, we're looking for
Let's see.
genuineness.
How do I identify? I'm Christian. I'm definitely black, and I'm proud to be black. I'm an aerospace engineer. I'm I guess that's about it.
Yeah,
That's
great.
nice. That's great.
a good answer.
All right, so next question. Are you a protester, organizer, protester against the protesters, or are you like a bystander to many of like these movements that you've been seeing going on?
Mostly because of I think my conservative upbringing. I think I sympathize obviously very heavily with I think the impetus for the protests movements, but I have my own views on the effectiveness of protests, in particular the effectiveness of raising the actual standard of living. And for me, because I'm black, that's my bias. For black people, right? When we see protests have been going on for 60 plus years or what have you. And yet we still have, here in Seattle, in the great liberal Seattle, we still have, the South Side is all black and much, much poorer, right? And they're earning less, and they're not, their schools are underfunded still. And so for me, it's a matter of sure, my voice will be heard, but voices have been being heard for 60 years. So what's not being done effectively in protests that should be being done elsewhere? And so that's, for me personally, my form of activism is doing it, leading by example. So I'm an engineer, and I am a mentor to middle school and high school students through a program here at UW. And so that's my form of activism. I'm probably never going to step in the streets and raise my hands or whatever. Probably never going to do that. But yeah, my form of protest is stepping into the schools in front of black children where they can see somebody, this is a black dude who's made it, who's not, exactly, who's not a, famous, he's not a John Lewis, I'm certainly no John Lewis, but I like to think that it does have some impact, I think, psychologically. So,
Definitely.
That's all amazing, and that's really awesome. Yeah, I don't see myself out among the streets too much either.
I think we can move to the last question. Or if you were given the platform, the question.
Oh yeah, so we don't have to,
I guess.
wait, which one?
This one.
Okay, so we'll read this question. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you were given a chance or a platform, what would you have done differently as compared to, I guess this, or something that, if the protesters were in, wait, what?
Yeah, just going off with what you were saying, because we were these questions were targeting people who do protest, but we also wonder what if you do not do protest? If you were given the power or the platform, what would you do?
interesting. The platform of Congressman Lewis.
Or anything
If I were given given
a
any
broader platform,
a broader
yeah.
platform. Oh, okay. So
instead of doing protest, what would you be doing? I'm moving my hands around.
No, I think that's the thing. So I would be my imagination. I would be doing pretty much the same thing that I'm doing now. That's living my life out and trying to lead by example. That doesn't mean just living, right, and doing nothing, but I do mean paying it forward and going into mentorship programs. I suppose if I had a great deal of wealth, I would actually invest in schools that focus and concentrate on actually developing stronger educational systems, and again, from my view, black people, right, but in general, people of color and people that have poor education systems.
More subordinate,
But yeah, I mean, I've seen my father, work his butt off and, do well in business for a while and still kind of fall flat, relative to, I think, other people who would, people talk about how immigrants come here and they have this ability to just build something
Work
great.
your way out.
You're right, exactly. But it's actually just not the case, and it hasn't been for a while in the United States for Black people. And so for me, it's just about I think leading by example, doing the best I can, and on the way taking everybody I can with me and like showing them like this is how we should be doing it, right? It's not all about, yes, you can go out and protest, but it's not all about the protest. It's about actually doing something. Study. You actually have to study, right? You actually have to study and work hard.
Yeah.
You actually have to build something. You actually have to, right? That's to me is like more important. It's not just give us the rights. Well, now you have the rights, exercise them, right? So that's, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
That's
and
perfect.
we'll just end with this question. How do you think an event like this impacts you or your community?
That's really interesting because one of the first few things that I noticed was how many how the population of the audience seemed predominantly white, and I would have expected a lot more Black students to have come out, and so I'm curious, is it that the Black community like kind of scoffs at these things, or are we like kind of like cynical? Because I can sense where cynicism would creep in. Again, like seeing, well, here's this guy who's dedicated his life to civil rights, and here we are still where we live in a society where police officers can shoot somebody in a car and just walk off, right? Like that sort of thing. So for me personally, I am really completely happy to hear about his stories, but I think there's a lot more pressing questions as well. It's like he said, we have to, like, he's passing the baton to us, but that baton may look something more dissimilar than what we imagine. It may not be the form of protest. It might be in the form of something else. So,
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right.